Here we are, approaching the end of the business section. Now, this might have seemed like it's taken a long time and you're wondering, well, when am I going to get into, making a website, setting up PayPal, starting to generate revenue? Don't rush into this. We're starting with business, the B of baton, because we want to make sure you have a solid foundation for your business before you worry about the technical aspects of digital marketing and online business. Plenty of people just rush off and they think that anybody can make money online, it's easy, and they don't think about their business fundamentals, and therefore whatever they're doing, the online tools just allow them to amplify their failure rather than to amplify what could be a success. So thank you for patiently working through this process. If at the end of this video you're still not in a position where you can answer yes to all the questions I'm going to be posing you, then go back to the drawing board. It's much better right now to spend some time nailing down what your particular market is, what your particular niche is, before rushing headlong into a failing business. I've done this several times before and I've learned that I have to take some time, make sure the business and the market opportunity exists before spending a lot of time and money producing products that nobody actually wants. So that's all we're trying to do here. All of these are quite flexible and relatively loose definitions. I don't want to give you exact definitions because for some people, being told, okay, your market must be between this many people and this many people, you must have this density of 18 to 35 year olds, etc. Some people will take that very literally and they'll allow this to paralyze them and they won't act. So we're trying to come somewhere in the middle of you need the market to exist, so you're not creating it from scratch, which will just lead to a waste of time and money. But on the other hand, we don't need to know so much about the market for it to be the perfect market before we start. To a certain extent, we're going to be fudging it. We're going to be making sure there's something there, moving into it, and then realizing that a lot of what we've done so far, a lot of our preconceived notions are actually going to be wrong. And that's fine, as long as there's a large enough market that's going to cushion any mistakes we make at this stage, because we're going to be able to flex and change depending on who our audience are and who our tribe are. And that's why we're using this lean methodology rather than spending a lot of money up front. So you need to be rigid on this process but flexible on the outcome. So we need to answer all the questions that's going to follow now with yeses. If not, go back and start again. Sorry, it's going to be easier next time if that's any consolation. But at the same time, we need to be relatively soft on how we answer the questions so that we can just get started and start making mistakes and start getting our hands dirty. And from that, learn and adjust, because we're going to have to anyway. We might as well do it quickly, we might as well do it cheaply. Okay, so without further ado, we looked at the three overlapping circles. So there's what you're good at, what you like doing, and what there's a market for. We went through what you're good at and what you like doing, and then we kind of narrowed down a short list of potential niches, potential markets which we can enter based on what we're good at and what we can like. So I'm assuming that you've already got those two locked down. So now we then moved on to the market section, where we were looking for a niche that has roughly 1 million people on Facebook who are interested in that particular subject, and we went through the Facebook insights in order to get to that number. And that allowed us to work out if what we're going for was too big, like yoga, or far too small, like pregnant women yoga for people who like country music, and Vauxhall cars, which was too small. So we got to that kind of sweet spot of about 1 million. That was our first market check. The second was we want to make sure there is competition. We want to make sure people are already talking about doing and selling products within this particular niche. We shouldn't see competition as a bad thing. Instead, it shows us that there is a market, and we can deal with competition risk much more than we can with market risk. We can't do very much about market risk, but with competitors, we can learn from them, we can work with them potentially, we can do a lot more there. So competitors, good. We then looked at Google Trends to see whether our particular niche was level, maybe it was declining, or maybe it was actually ascending. We wanted to at least see something that was level over the years. If it was ascending, fantastic, that's even better. We don't really want to see a niche that is collapsing. So that's a bit of a red flag that yes, it might be viable now, but you need to think a couple of years down the line, after you've invested a lot of time and money creating your product, what's the use if it's not going to be of interest? And we can't assume it's going to have a revival of interest either. Instead, we go with the flow and we find something that's already rising or already kind of stabilized, and we enter that market instead. Again, we don't make markets, we ensure that they exist, and then we serve those markets. Finally, we looked at affiliate products. We just wanted to see whether they exist in the market for the same reason we're looking for competitors, and for the same reason we're looking for static or rising Google Trends. We want to make sure the market's there and that it will continue to be there for some time. And a good track record of existing affiliate products, both people creating affiliate products and people promoting them through their blogs and social media, shows us that this is a market that's going to be around for a little while, and it has been around, and people are making money from it, enough certainly for them to create products and to promote products. So based on those four, Facebook audience of 1 million, the fact that there is competition, the fact that there are affiliate products in this niche, and a level or a growing Google Trends, I want you to take all four of those aspects and basically look at your niche and give it a yay or a nay. You really need to be hitting all four of those for a yay. If I had to be parsimonious and say one's more important, it would be Facebook at 1 million. If you are falling way lower than that, you need to widen out. If you are shooting above and you're 100 million, you need to narrow it down. And that's the most exact one because we actually have the data from Facebook there. The other three, competition, affiliates, and Google Trends, are nice to have, but not as important as that Facebook audience of 1 million. Excuse me. So, what you like, what you're good at, and what there's a market for. We now have the answer for, is there a market for this product or services in this particular niche? So if you have all three of these aligned, you're ready. You're ready to move on to the next stage. If you do not, then that's fine. Either go back to what you like doing or what you're good at doing, come up with more ideas and then run them through the same market viability checks, or go back to that original list, and run through another set of markets for that market viability, and eventually you will come across a niche that's going to work for you. Don't fret and spend too much time though, because as I said, whatever we start with, it's probably going to change and morph over time, especially once we come into contact with our audience and our tribe members, because we're going to be communicating with them. It's going to be a dialogue. It's not just me didactically saying you must do this. Instead, it's going to be putting information and value out into the world, asking people, is this useful? Is this something you want to see more of? Is this something you might potentially purchase from me further down the line? And using that feedback to create. Okay, so as long as you're hitting those rough market viability guidelines and it's also something that you enjoy doing and you're good at doing, then you're good. You're good to go for now, okay? So don't worry about extensive market research. We're going to move on.